It is Lions and Dolphins joint practice day. Big day out here. Maybe the biggest of training camp so far. Great to be with you here on a Wednesday. Good morning, Scott.
Morning, Doug. Like how you're putting pressure on the practice already.
I am putting pressure on the practice already. And we're going to get right into it as we welcome in new Detroit Lions tight end coach Tyler Roehl in his first year with the Detroit Lions. Coach, welcome to Detroit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been an awesome opportunity for myself professionally, but for my family. You know, the ability to surround ourselves with new people, new community, so welcoming, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
How did all this unfold for you becoming a member of the Lions staff?
Yeah, great question. So I got to know Dan. I was at North Dakota State for a long time, 17, 18 years.
It's a long time.
And played there, grew up there. We had a pro day, and our quarterback at the time was Trey Lance. Trey Lance was going through the pro day. And Dan was there with some staff members, and I just approached him. He had just gotten done with his press conference not long before that, and I admired his message, the way he saw football, his philosophy on how to win games, and just his messaging. And I just approached him and had a few words with him, and then we hit it off, stayed in touch, and one thing led to another. I had interviewed actually a couple years ago, and didn't work that time. But we stayed in touch, and this offseason we got back in touch, and everything happens for a reason. Timing is everything, and now was the right time for me and my family. It's just an unbelievable opportunity.
When you talked to him, when you approached him, did you get the sense at that moment that he was receptive to what you guys were doing at North Dakota State? Because you were the offensive coordinator at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, you guys constantly kind of put guys in the NFL from Notre Dame State.
And you constantly kind of win, too.
Yeah. And it was great, like synergy, communication. Like we have a very similar mindset, like how I see offensive football, right? The most physicality wins, and the most physical team is going to win. And so how and why we're activating certain schemes in the run game, being efficient and multiple in the pass game. Overall, simplicity equals velocity, and how can you break down things to the simplest manner and teach it? It was a great conversation, great communication, and from there just continued to just feed off one another and stay in touch.
We kind of alluded to it, the amount of success that program has at North Dakota State. It's amazing. You guys won, I don't know how many championships, are you 7 or 8 championships while you were there. How does the offense that you ran there translate to what you're walking into here?
Yeah, very pro style. And even from the day that I stepped on campus there in 2004 as a player, the carryover. But yeah, there's an evolution, in terms of how the offense evolved there and the things that I even adapted and changed in my time as a coordinator. But very pro style, meaning the run schemes that you're going to activate, how multiple you're going to be in shifting and trading and motioning to create advantageous angles in the run game and create, maybe you can get locked looks with a certain shift, with a certain personnel grouping. Where can you get the right matchup from, hey, maybe we don't want to block this D end with this tight end. How can we create a better matchup for the tight end? And then just whether it be zone scheme, gap scheme, and then you go to the whole pass game side. What concepts do you want to utilize and activate versus zone? What do you want to get to versus man? The whole protocol and systematic communication that is involved at the line of scrimmage to get to those certain schemes. So there was a lot of carryover, and I think that's why you have seen a lot of players from NDSU go to the NFL. They've been trained within a system. It isn't, and offenses have their own feel, right? It isn't just a system where you're looking over to the sideline, getting a call and going to run it. No, there are things that you have to process, change at the line of scrimmage, the NFL protection style within the drop-back pass game, and then the different play-action schemes that we utilize as well. I think that just put me in a position to come here, learn. Now, there's great people that I learned from here in my short time here that has helped have a pretty seamless transition.
How did those schemes change from the time you were a player there when you were running back by the way, hell of a career. I looked it up this morning.
Yeah,
The last couple of seasons, a man had like 34 touchdowns on the ground the last couple of years and like 2,500 yards rushing.
Strong.
Not bad. But you mentioned you spent all that time there at the university in one capacity or another. How did you see that offense evolve constantly over the years, or was it basically the same thing and just might throw some different things each year?
Yeah, the standard of physicality and the schemes that we used in the run game, they didn't change. How we got to them changed. So instead of just going I right 40 power, maybe it was let's go, hey, reduce to I right F peel 40 power, just to dress it up a little bit. So there was a whole evolution in the presentation of the play, and maybe just doing out of certain unbalanced formations, some formations that we're not able to do at this level, but just a whole presentation of the scheme, and then utilize maybe a little bit more quarterback run game with it. We had some pretty dynamic quarterbacks in Carson Wentz, Easton Stick, Trey Lance, to Cam Miller, who just got drafted by the Raiders and had a great first preseason game, but utilizing quarterback read, quarterback power read, yet the scheme up front was the same for the O-line. The demanding of physicality up front was the same. So that's how we were able to have success. It was similar in scheme, but just different in presentation.
Tyler Roehl, Lions tight end coach, with us here from training camp, 97.1 The Ticket. All right, when you watch the Lions last year and look at points of emphasis this year, offensively, what are areas, I'm sure you want to get better everywhere, but what are areas that the coaching staff and the team has identified we need to be better at this in 2025 than we were in 2024?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint a lot of things for a top 10 historical offense.
Fair.
But, there's always things like how do you win games? Well, you take care of the football. Ball security is at a premium. That's been a huge emphasis from the time that I stepped on campus here and stepped in the building. Pad level at the line of scrimmage. How can we create leverage and play with power and, play with physicality at the line of scrimmage? And that's across the board. And I think you've really seen that out on the perimeter now in this preseason. Scotty Montgomery is having these receivers play with physicality out on the edge, and it's awesome. Hoping you're seeing that out of the tight ends and fullback as well. But that's huge. And, how can you stay on schedule? You need to be efficient on first and second down, not getting third and long plus. How can you make off-schedule plays? So utilizing scramble drill, having certain times where you're having Jared and the receivers on the same page and you're off schedule within the play, and guys are understanding where to get to, how to get to those with maybe be open field scramble drill or red zone scramble drill. Those are just a few, but there's a lot of really, really positive things that this offense has done over the last couple of years, and how can we just, even for myself, how can I add value to an already unbelievable system?
The position group of the tight end in the NFL has evolved to the point today where it is a giant weapon on offense compared to where it was maybe 10, 15 years ago, a lot more block-oriented. But you've got to find that balance because the run game is so important for the Lions. How have your guys embraced what you're trying to introduce, maybe something new this year?
Yeah, it's an unbelievable group. Low ego, high capacity, and all about the team. And that's what I appreciate. They've bought into the how and why. My number one thing is, okay, well, what's the goal? Well, our goal is to go and play deep in the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. So I go, okay, well, how can I turn to these guys, the type of pad level that we need to play with? Well, let's play with Super Bowl pad level. Let's play with leverage. Let's play with physicality. My number one goal for them is to be the most physical group in the National Football League. And we get an unbelievable matchup every single day out here with Hutch, right? And iron is sharpening iron, and they've honestly, I think they've done a really, really good job so far. Davenport's an unbelievable D-end. So happy with the way that they're trending in that direction. But how I was coaching the offense at North Dakota State, we need to be opportunistic and then explosive when we get the ball in our hands. So, having the marriage of the run game and the pass game because we have dynamic players. Sam Laporta has really played at a high level throughout his career, and I'm just seeing growth, daily growth. He's so curious in the why and how he can Maybe block this defender. Maybe that's this first step, this second step, this leverage. How can I win on the front side of zone, backside? I mean, he is so curious. Brock Wright, true professional, mature, understands, what we want him to do and continuing to create value for himself within the offense. Shane Zylstra's done a really good job so far. It's like, how can we embrace that physicality and not think football, but play football and cut it loose, and changed a few things with his stance so he can play with leverage. Zach Horton, a kid who we've brought in who, did a lot of wing tight end stuff, but utilized fullback, utilize on the ball as a wing. All those guys having the ability to flex out, play out on the perimeter, so we can be multiple in 12 personnel and 13 personnel and get certain locks out of defenses.
Okay, I mentioned it before the show, or early in the show. Am I wrong? Is today the most important day, or the biggest day of training camp so far, joint practices?
Man, it's the one we've been looking for. We've been going against these DNs for, 15 days, 16 days. Now we get to go against someone else. How has the training improved this skill set? Have you truly taken advantage of the ops that you've had in practice? Now we get to go cut it loose. But it's a lot. There's a lot that entails this practice, right? Yeah, a lot of it's the players. Where have they improved? Where has the scheme, where have they been able to flourish within the scheme? But it's also us as a staff, right? The communication that we have, the substitutions of personnels, the players on the field, the situational football that may occur within this practice, having everyone on the same page, having everyone in alignment to go forward with our goals. And it's really big. But again, it's one that we've been looking forward to. I know the tight ends this morning, they were ready to go. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where they're at. It's going to be a good barometer to challenge us and just see how we've adapted and changed over the course of the last 7 months.
Your personality is reminding me an awful lot about somebody who else has come back to the Lions fold over the last 5 years or so, and it's Chris Spielman.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if Doug's saying the same thing.
When
but
he started talking about physicality, listeners can't see it. It felt like he got a little spittle in his eye. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. You're ready to suit up and get out there and play. I mean, you have that same kind of passion for the game. You obviously know what you're talking about, and you can't wait to get out there and see him play.
No, and that's a rock of this organization, and have great conversations with him, and like his energy, love, passion for the sport, like resonates with me, and it's contagious. And if we are going to, confront and demand physicality the right way, play with an edge, and let these guys cut it loose and play, keep things simple for them so they can play with velocity and sprint off the ball, run off the ball, because that's what and how we want to operate, good things are going to happen.
Coach, I know you got a job to do.
I do. I'm excited for today.
We appreciate. Maybe report back afterwards and let us know how the guys cleared it out.
Yeah, no, this will be good.
Great meeting you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Coach.
That
Take
is
care.
Tyler Roehl, the Lions tight end coach, joining us here from Allen Park, the headquarters of the Detroit Lions, on this joint practice day with the Dolphins. It is Karsch and Anderson. We'll get to what he had to say. Dolphins are out on the field warming up. All that coming up here on 97.1 The Ticket.